This is my submission to the Cursed Conlang Circus 4, and it is called I La It. But in English, you can call it Ajon. Lore, or Oh, last it. Zoot free. When the humans and Floorcries first met, they couldn't communicate. They both made different sounds. The humans could make a range of sounds, and could make sounds similar to those of the Floorcries. The Floorcries, however, could only inhale. They took air in through their eye and expelled it through their skin. This meant that they couldn't make any of the noises that humans made, because those all rely on exhale. So, a bridge language had to be made, one that utilized the human's ability to make a few select inhaling sounds. Parts of both linguistic structures were borrowed, and the language of Ajon was made. For each sentence, you need to use a sentence starter. So if the sentence is about an action, you would say, ah. Or if it is a question about an action, you would say, ah. If it is a statement, you would say, eh. Or if it is a question about a statement, you would say, eh. If it is a variable, which we'll talk about later, you would say, oh, and you wouldn't have a question about a variable. Then you must define the subject. If the action, for example, is being performed by me, you would start off for the word for action, which is ah, and then add the word for subject of me, which is brah. So other would be bree, and others would be bra, and an object would be ah. Now with others and other, you can't convey you and us without indicating if the other has a relation to you. So you, when spoken, would be other with relation to me. So the word that you add in front is se. So other, which is bree, would be turned into se bree. And others, which is bra, would be turned into the bra, or us, because it is others in relation to me. Now we come to the part that makes this language unique, which is its variables. So it doesn't need to have a whole lot of words because it can describe new words on the fly. So, for example, if it states variable 1 by saying, oh, and then you click your teeth the amount of times that it is the variable, since it's variable 1, it would be, oh, and then you state the different things about that variable. So right now I want to describe a snake. So I use the word for animal, which is that. Then I would use the word for long, which is boo. And then I would use the word for green, which is oh. So that would indicate that the variable 1 is an animal that is long and green. And now, in my next sentence, I can have a statement about it. So I can start with a statement, which is and then you put the previous variable in there. So I would click my teeth once, and then I would say what I want to say in that statement about that variable, which we know is a snake. So now it's a statement about the snake, which, let's say the snake is big, so I would say, Whoo! Then I might go on to add a second variable, right? So now I want to describe an apple. So I would start by stating that I'm doing a variable, so oh, and then I would click my teeth twice to state that this is the second variable. And then let's say I want to state that this is an object and I want to describe an apple, right? So I would say "Mbot" to indicate that it's an object. Then I would say "Ee" to indicate that it's red. Then I would say "Go" to indicate that it can be eaten. And I would say "Woo" to indicate that it's big, but it's not big because apples are small. So I would inverse the word big by clicking my tongue, which would inverse the word big and say that it's small. So that's object red taste small. That describes an apple, and that is the second variable. Now, if I wanted to use a sentence with both of those variables in it, I could. I could do ah to indicate an action, and I could click my teeth once to indicate that I'm talking about the snake. So the snake is doing an action where it go, which is the word for taste or eat, and then I would click my teeth twice to indicate that it's doing that action to the second variable. So that is action snake taste apple. So the snake eats the apple. The number system is base 3. So 1 is wah, 2 is wah, and 3 is wowee, because wee is the sound for 0. 4 is wah wah. 5 is wah wah. 6 is wah wee. 7 is wah wah. And 8 is wah wah. You can add a number behind a word to expand it. So if I were to add 2 behind a word, let's say move, then it might be a greater distance of moving. I'm going to quickly go through the vocabulary because this is every single word is in the language and needed to hold a conversation or communicate because of the variable system. So object is dot, animal is dot, and a concept is did. And then indicating that two things are together is va, and create is good, and move is you. Red is ah, green is do, and blue is do. Time is su. See is go. Here is ah. Taste is go. Feel is pli. Inverse is big is fo. Tall is pui. Long is pu. To indicate is la. To deceive is lo. To cause is ri. To find is wak. A system is sao. And a feeling is san. So for the Crazy Conlang Circus, we're supposed to translate this long text about a serpent. So I have gone ahead and translated the first part. I've left it in its English translation so you can see how the grammar works, and then I'll show it to you in its Ajon translation. So it would be variable 1, animal big, long, green. So you're describing a snake, or a serpent specifically because it's big. It's bigger than a normal snake. And it's an action question, variable 1, time, end, inverse time, which is you're asking about the snake whether it comes at the end or beginning of time. Essentially, there's some loop stuff, but that's the best way of conveying that. And then there's an action of variable 1, so a snake takes an action, or the serpent takes an action, and then taste variable 1. So the snake is tasting itself, it's biting itself. So the common mythological loop of a snake. And then action variable 1 end animal object. So it's saying that it's an action of the serpent that's destroying animals and objects and lots of things. So the translation would be Oh da pupui da ai zu uh uh zu ai go